From luxurious cabins and dining spaces to grand lounges and recreational rooms, RMS Titanic is seen by many to be the pinnacle of Edwardian elegance and opulence. With that elegance, though, comes some features that were just plain weird. Here are 3 examples of Titanic's weirdest, or, depending on how you look at it, funniest, design features. Located on C deck, just off the second-class stairs, the second-class library was a place of relaxation, where passengers could read and write letters, or perhaps enjoy a drink and some friendly conversation. Passengers could also enjoy some music from here, as the ship's band set up for an hour's worth of music 3 times a day in the vestibule outside. Seems pretty cozy. So, what's the weird part? Well, it wasn't so much the library itself, but how you would have gotten in it. There were actually 2 second-class stairs. One was on the aft boat deck, which included an elevator, and the other was on the aft B-deck promenade. Second-class spaces like the dining room, the smoking room, and the library actually had 2 entrances each, usually on either end of the room, so the space could be accessed from either staircase. If you used the boat deck stairs to enter, say, the library, you wouldn't have had a problem. You'd simply head through the door, take the stairs or the elevator 3 decks down, and head on in. Getting in there via the B-deck promenade route, however, would have required some maneuvering around a pretty big nuisance. A 97.5-foot tall one, to be exact. Just like her foremast, Titanic's mainmast was a towering column of steel, capped by a 15-foot section of teak, to which one end of the Marconi wireless aerial was attached, along with the ship's White Star Line burgee. In order to support its great height, the base of the mainmast wasn't attached to the outermost deck, but was actually carefully driven into her superstructure and affixed several decks down. With both masts placed 600 feet apart, this meant that Titanic's mainmast was stuck through the roof of the second-class stairs that began on B deck and ultimately ended right at the entrance to the second-class library on C deck. For ships at sea, space is a valuable commodity, and Titanic was no exception. No space was too small or too awkward to fit something in, be it a simple storage cupboard or a full cabin. A passenger cabin would be the ideal addition, though, because the more passengers a ship could take on, the more money the company would make. For a ship like Titanic, there were some areas where the average person would think, oh, there's absolutely no way we can do anything with this space, it's just too weird and too awkward. Yet, somehow, Harland and Wolff did it, and a perfect example of this feat is with a number of third-class cabins on D deck at the stern. While men were accommodated in the bow, families, married couples, and single women slept in the stern. Cabins could sleep anywhere from 2 to 10 people, with families usually taking up the largest ones. The further down and further aft you went, though, the stranger the cabin shapes became, and this was because of the shape of Titanic's hull. The third-class cabins on D deck aft were located more or less within Titanic's fantail, and it was around here that the hull began to slope and curve into what would eventually become her propellers and her rudder. So, what would a cabin in this part of the ship look like? At Titanic's bow was the forward well deck. This was primarily a space used to access the ship's cargo holds, as 2 of her main cargo hatches were located on this deck. Third-class passengers could also use this space to gain access to their open space on D deck, where they could have a drink or 3 and socialize. This room was made famous for the party held there on the night of Sunday, April 14th. So, what's so weird about it? Well, if we look closely behind the stairs that lead to the forecastle deck, you'll see that there's a small ladder behind it, seemingly leading to nowhere. However, as bizarre and as useless as this may seem at first glance, there was a perfectly normal need for this. These stairs were actually removable, and when they were removed, the crew would still need to be able to access the forecastle deck, and this is where that ladder came in. Why these stairs could be removed, I'm honestly not sure. I'm assuming that because the well deck was a cargo area, the crew would need to remove them to make it easier to load and unload. Well, cargo obviously, but if you know their actual reason, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a like, feel free to leave me a comment, and please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to have you here. You can also find me on Instagram at officialhistory401. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.